Tulsa County voters not seeing eye to eye with Vision 2. Let's go to the results. Both these are not going to pass, both Proposition 1 and Proposition 2. There you're looking at Proposition 1. 55% of Tulsa County voters saying no.
And also Proposition 2, this is the quality of life issues. Voters also saying no by 54 to 46% of the vote. Absolutely did not want this to pass. Now, Brandon Richard is at the campaign that was against the Vision 2. He joins us now live.
Yeah, Karen, there's a small group here at the Vision 2 Opposition Watch Party. But as you can see, that didn't matter one bit. They declared victory earlier this evening. Joining me now is Rhonda Villamont-Smith. She's with Citizens for Better Vision.
Yes, sir.
First off, what do you think explains this victory?
I think that the common sense explains the victory. I think that people saw through what was going on, and that it was too soon. It was too rushed, and I think that they know that we can do better than what they proposed.
Mm-hmm. Now, were you expecting this to be called so early for you guys?
I didn't know what to expect, honestly. You don't get your hopes up, but at the same time, we had a very good feeling about it because the people that we talked to, we rarely ever came across anybody that was voting for a yes. So, we felt positive, but at the same time, kind of not skeptical, but, where we were a little, help me out here with a word, guys. I don't know. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss for words, and that does not happen very often, I can assure you.
And you guys were outspent overwhelmingly.
Yes, sir. They spent somewhere in the neighborhood of $600,000 that we know of, and we spent less than $12,000.
Okay, well, again, both propositions of Vision 2 fail. Reporting live in Midtown, Brandon Richard, 2 News works for you.
Thank you, Brandon. We appreciate that. Now, just moments ago, supporters of Vision 2 came out and conceded their loss. County Commissioner John Smoligo, here's his comment.
Moving a positive pro-growth agenda forward at all levels of government here in this community and making sure that our way of life here in Tulsa County is the best that it can be for its citizens, both right now and into the future. Thank you all very much.
All right, and we're joined now by our panel of experts, and we have David Blatt with the Oklahoma Policy Institute, Michael Bates of Batesline.com, and then we have the Republican Senator from Owasso, Rick Brinkley. Thanks for joining us. And Michael, let's start with you. Talk a little bit about Vision 2. You're probably not surprised by this.
Well, it was hard to tell for sure what would happen. The Vote Yes side had hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend. They were hoping, they deliberately planned to run this race at this election to get as many uninformed voters as they possibly could. Councilor Blake Ewing wrote about that on his blog yesterday. And yet, people got the message. People saw what was on the ballot. They saw it didn't match up with what they were hearing in the commercials, and they said, this is not for us right now. And it's really startling, looking at some of the early returns. The Utica Square area, usually very strong for any sort of tax proposition. They went 85% for the river tax 5 years ago. Tonight, they only went 64% for Vision 2, which sounds like a lot, but that's an area that normally would far outperform that. Overall, the swing that we're seeing, the results we get so far, is about 5% worse than river tax overall. And river tax lost by about a 47 to 53% margin.
Also kind of conjures up the Tulsa time vote as well when that one went down.
That's right.
David, you surprised at all?
I don't think it was a big surprise. I think that a lot of people were uncertain about what the urgency was, knowing that this was to replace a tax that wouldn't come into effect in 2017. I think there was concerns about the process in which it came on the ballot. I think on the first proposition, there was general support for the idea of helping the airline industry, but a lot of skepticism that it was going to really make a difference at this time. So I think people really didn't see a real compelling argument being made.
Yeah, and Rick Brinkley, the last one we had the BOK Center, Vision 2025, something big, something tangible people could grab onto and say, I can support that. This one didn't seem to have that.
No, and I think this sends a very clear message to everyone that people are willing to vote for something if they know what it is. And I think that was part of the questions we heard people saying is that I don't know really what all is involved in this, and I think it sends a message to any community or county or state that's wanting to do any kind of tax increase that the voters are going to vote for something if they understand what it is and they believe that it's worth it. Obviously, the way this vote has turned out, they just didn't see that in this particular election.
Yeah, and Michael, the closing fund that was in there for the city of Tulsa, I mean, there's a lot of people who seem to think that was a pretty good idea and help bring businesses here, but apparently voters just not willing to go for the whole package.
Well, I think the fact that it was uncapped and that it was in the control of a particular a trust that would consist of 3 county commissioners, 3 suburban mayors, and then 1 vote from the city of Tulsa, the mayor of Tulsa. City of Tulsa would contribute 70% of the funds that went into that closing fund. They'd only have 1 say, 1 vote out of 7 on how that would be spent. And for people who live in the city who want to see the city sales tax numbers go up, city services continue to improve, that seemed like putting our own city at a disadvantage.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Again, we're going to have a full wrap-up of all today's elections and the election results that have come in so far. Look for that coming up tonight at 10.